Welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. Last time
on Critical Hit.
There you go. Sam gets $1. Good job, Sam. Last time on Critical Hit, Rodrigo was running a game for us. This time, it's Brian's turn to run a game. And Brian, what do you have in store for us this time around?
I figured we'd take another crack at Sentinel Comics role-playing game. Since now the full book is out and we can make our own characters and give more of a shake and see how this feels with doing our own thing.
I like this. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have the full manual, but I was going through some of the other materials that are out there and available online. And I forgot how much fun I had playing this when we were doing the pre-built starter set. So I'm kind of excited to see where we're going to go once we create our own characters.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested to see where this goes, what kind of characters we come up with here. As this game is somewhat influenced by early superhero role-playing games, such as Marvel Heroics Phase Rift system, there is the option where you can do a semi-random character creation. Some people here have gone through characters and made them, but you can just choose your options as well as you go through. So if you don't want or want to do random, you have either of those methods. And as far as I'm concerned, you can pretty much dip in and out. If you're not quite sure what you want for a step, you can roll and see what the dice says and see if that triggers anything in your mind. Or, if you don't like the results, just ignore them and take what you want, as far as I'm concerned. Largely because since the constructed method is there, you can just pick according to that method to make your character. So basically those will be the guidelines that we'll follow. And what I'm thinking for this game is will be within the world of Modern City, but disconnected from that particular story. So, if you guys want to hear the continuation of Modern City, get that pledge level up there. But until then, I figured we'd set this in the Pacific Northwest and the fictional city. I'm thinking the name of Ashport.
Okay.
Sure.
Ashport.
Sounds cool.
I'm thinking probably a little bit higher themed heroics than what we did with Modern City. That seemed to kind of end up trending towards more of a street level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're making characters, you might consider that there might be more in the way of like alien invasions or giant monsters crawling out of the sea to attack the city, or bigger. Well, we had plenty of mad scientists and their inventions in Modern City too, but stuff like that.
Okay.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, we'll be going through character creation in this particular episode. So, generally helps if anyone here has an idea of what concept they want for a character, we can do that. Or if you want to see where the dice take you, you can just roll and develop a concept from there. Is there anyone that does want to do the random character creation if they haven't already?
No one.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm willing to kind of go back and forth like you were saying a little bit ago.
All right.
I don't have a lot of concrete ideas going on since I've been unconscious for most of the last 36 hours.
That's fair. Did you get the document of the character creation stuff I sent?
Yes.
All right. So anyone else, do you have generally a concept? I know that some of you have pretty much built your characters or did completely build your characters ahead of time. If you want to go ahead and give us a rundown of those characters so that other people have an idea of what's already out there.
Yeah, so I have not played a healer character yet. I've usually played, a tech whiz or something like that. So I wanted to go with someone with a medical background as the character. And so I figured that my character is younger, probably around, your guys' age. And so my parents watched a lot of NBC television back in the 80s. So they decided to name me Theo Alexander Devereaux. And so I'm just going to go with the lame alias of Tad for now.
Yeah, that works.
And so as we get into, because I know that there's that's kind of my rough overall character, because once we get into power sources and archetypes and all that kind of stuff, that has to do with the steps. So that's my character.
Cool.
What did Rodrigo come up with?
I actually came up with like 3 separate concepts.
Oh, look
I
who's
actually
trying
came
to
up
earn
with
points
6,
with the teacher.
but then I whittled it down to 3. Largely so that if somebody's concept ended up taking it in the same general mechanical direction, I could just do a different one. So I have a legacy genius physical powerhouse, a retired extra-dimensional transporter, and an otherworldly mystical close combat guy. So I don't necessarily. I'd be okay with going last, and then I can maybe pick one of those and turn it around. But I'll tell you that all 3 concepts are masked wrestlers. So
It was
I have
kind
a
of
concept.
funny.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say it was kind of funny in Rodrigo's email, because he's like had a little grid in his email and said, here's this guy, he does this and has this, and then you read his description, everyone is bold, all cap, masked wrestler, and so it's going to be a good time.
So I have a concept, which is basically an interstellar. Looking at this would be backgrounds interstellar and power source alien, because I kind of want to be an alien who's sent to Earth because they're effectively alien witness protection for whatever, like the equivalent of the Sentinels world for like Guardians of the Galaxy or other, space police force that oversees things. And then got bored and joined a superhero team because they have special abilities that are useful on Earth. But I hadn't actually decided necessarily what those abilities were going to be. So I figured I could kind of play it by ear based on what we need for the team.
Fair. That's neat. And we have not actually established any sort of particular organization that covers extraterrestrial relations within the setting as of yet. So we might have to think on that.
Cool.
So if anyone can come up with a good name or acronym, we might slot that in there. But other than that, otherwise, so Rob, you don't got any concept as of yet?
I do not.
All right,
going through some of the things.
Yeah,
going through some of the things,
I
keep hitting the stuff that I've already done previously.
That's fair.
Not for superheroes.
I mean, there is a whole minion maker archetype.
I looked at that one. That's pretty sweet.
I mean, it is going to be one of the more rules heavy options.
Involved.
Yeah.
If you want to play the most complicated thing, is it looks like it's that or the one that where there's 3 of them that are really, really complicated. Well, modular hero where you have a bunch of different forms, or the one where you're like the Hulk and you're basically 2 different characters.
Divided, yes. And you notice that those will come up very rarely if you actually go through the random method. I think that's by design. Yeah, I mean, so is there any particular the first step of creating characters is you have to select a background. Is there any particular background, if you go through that list, that appeals to you there, Rob?
Yeah, Performer was the one that stood out to me because we've got. Do you remember the urban campaign we played for a little bit in our personal lives, where I played a Gwar type character?
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, basically that.
That would be interesting. All right. Well, as the performer, basically you have a D10 and a D8 that you assign to 2 qualities from among acrobatics, creativity, finesse, or one of the social qualities, which include banter, insight, imposing, leadership, or persuasion.
You can take any social quality or the other 3 qualities?
Yep, or acrobatics, creativity, or finesse.
Yeah, we're going with creativity for the D8. And then I'm going to do 2...
We only get to choose one more at this.
Yeah.
So 1 D10 and 1 D8 for performer. Oh, Are you talking about to roll a D10, D8, D6 for power source? Oh,
Yeah, I was
hey.
just noticing the backgrounds is weird in that it has 3, but if any of you look in your the backgrounds, the actual things, it says 2.
That is weird. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll go with the description rather than the chart on that, because it does have just a D10 and a D8 according to the description there.
Okay.
So just 2 then.
Yeah, a D10 and a D8.
We'll go with leadership still then, as the D10.
Okay.
And creativity.
All right. And then at this point, you would also select a responsibility principle. Basically, these will grant you opportunities to use your max die when you're rolling your dice pool instead of the medium one. Let's see what ones are there. So, at the list of the responsibility principles, there is the principle of business, the debtor, the detective, the double agent, the everyman, the family, the mask, the sidekick, the team, the underworld, the veteran, or the youth. Is there any of those that particularly jump out at you?
That is.
And basically, what these are going to provide is some options for if you want to take a minor or major twist, typically during overcome actions, and also an ability that lets you usually use a max die when it applies to that particular principle in a sort of aspect-esque mechanic going from fate.
Brian, since Rob doesn't have a very clear idea of where he wants to take the character, maybe you should pick these last, unless they
Fair enough.
unless they have some other unless they impact the rest of character creation. Like
No, they
mechanically.
typically won't. No. Yeah. Basically,
that's
just the
a
background
suggestion.
would. But yeah, fair enough. So yeah, just keep those in mind. We'll come back to it. Does anyone else want to say what they picked for their background, or if they haven't picked yet, see what you maybe.
As I said earlier, I went with medical. So I assigned my D10 to medicine, and then I went with science and technology for my technology a D8 and my science the D6 on that. Because it said select 2 of the following from finesse, science, technology, or mental qualities. And then my expertise, I went with principle of powerless. Let me find it here really quick. Let's see. During roleplay, you value training and hard work over enhanced abilities. You understand how to get things done without powers and how to exploit flaws in powered individuals. And it was the how to exploit flaws in powered individuals that attracted me to this particular principle, in that I also have some other stuff later on that may allow me to figure out what people's deals are. Hopefully.
Nice.
And so for the minor twist, it says, what temporary injury did you just suffer? And what more serious injury did you just suffer? So I have a feeling I'm going to be kind of the squishy character of our group. Because as I was doing my hit points, I'm very, very low. So yes, my idea is I'm here to be kind of in the background, healing people and powering you up. But I don't know if that's going to happen, to be honest.
It's fair.
So I have a thought.
Yes, sir.
On my principle. I kind of want to do principle of the mask, where
that one's pretty cool.
And so my stage name, my stage persona, and my hero persona are the same. And no one outside of like a select band member and possibly my agent know who my real identity is, even off stage.
That is definitely interesting, and certainly leads to quite a bit of potential social-based twists that may need to come up. So yeah, I think that one sounds good, and that the overcome action gives you overcome using knowledge of your civilian life and use your max die. You and each of your allies gain a hero point. Pretty much all these will give your allies hero points, which helps in later issues. Sam, did you going with the otherworldly background, or do you have another one that you're wanting?
The interstellar background.
Interstellar. There we are. Yeah. And I want to assign a D12 and a D6 to two qualities, the information or the mental quality categories.
Yeah, I was looking back at those, so I'm trying to decide which ones I think would be good. I was thinking maybe like specialized info from information, just like being like from a species that's just more advanced than humans, so I just know all sorts of random stuff. And the and then I was also thinking of like a awareness response. So I'm trying to, I'm still kind of like grappling with what my concept is. I'm thinking maybe like I'm a psychic alien,
That's fair.
and like maybe that's part of why I'm in witness protection, is that I accidentally read someone's mind and got a bunch of information that's super important.
Yeah, that could definitely be neat. And
so one of these becomes a D12 and then the other one becomes a D6. Is that right?
let me double.
What are the
check
3 die that you had? Or did you only have 2 die? Did you have 3 dice?
D12 and a D6.
Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
It sounds like Steven did the 3 die thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Medical actually lists 3 in the description: a
Oh, it
D10, a
does.
D8,
Okay.
and a D6. Yeah,
Oh,
medicine
interesting.
There you go.
And how does can you explain to me the mechanics of the dice and how that works again?
Basically, in this game, when you're rolling, you're going to take 3 dice, one from your list of qualities, one from your list of powers, and one from the current state that you're in, which is based on either your health or what the scene
Oh, right, like the
that it's
environment.
currently at. Yeah. And so generally you're going to roll, and on the typical roll, you're going to take whatever the middle one is. So you're going to range them low, middle, high, and take whatever the middle one is. Now your powers and abilities are going to give you options, usually to take higher or lower, or use your lower dice for other effects. But yeah, the default mechanic is you take the middle one.
Yeah, actually, I think I might take aware response and canny awareness, both from mental qualities, because those just both seem cool.
Sounds good. And Rodrigo, which one are you thinking of going with?
I think I'm gonna go with this second one. I think I'm gonna go with Nexo, who is the he used to be the guardian of all of the crossroads of reality, which is of course in southern Mexico. And he basically recently, the crossroads like chose or someone else became the guardian. So now he's like basically retired from that job and is now free to pursue other things. But spent his entire life beating up extra dimensional things trying to come in, and super powered idiots trying to go out. So that's kind of what he's good at.
Nice. And so are you thinking the otherworldly background?
I was
Or
actually
is there...
I was actually going with retired.
Retired.
There is a power source that is extra dimensional, so I was going to get my weirdness from there.
That's fair. Yeah, you can definitely do that. And according to the book for that, you have...
looks like 2d10s.
2d10s, yep.
Yeah, to 2 of these qualities, information qualities, and social qualities. So I went with magical lore, which is an info quality, and imposing, which is a social quality.
Nice. All right. And so, yep, that's generally the first step there. And also, you would have an identity principle to choose and apply. Do you know what you went for that?
I need to. So let's see. This is, what does it send me to? Identity. I need to look through them again.
Fair enough. Yeah, like as you mentioned, we can definitely come back to that and fine tune those later. But basically, from origin or from background, we had then pop on the power source. Now, in each of your background listings, does give you a set of dice that you're going to use to select your powers and qualities from your power source. So, for example, for a performer, you get a D10, a D8, and a D6 for power source selection. And
Okay.
do you know what you want your source of powers there to be, Rob?
I'm leaning towards supernatural.
Cool.
I think
So
this is where it
supernatural.
starts to gets into some of that randomness when you roll those die. Because I ended up
Yeah.
with mine. I had some really bad rolls on mine. I think I ended up with what did I end up with? I have to look here and see what my dice roll were. But essentially, it was a 4, a 4, and a 3. So I could either use one of those. I could use a 4 or a 3, or I could combine two of those and get an 8 or a 7.
Or 7. Yep.
Yeah, and I went with 7, which was a relic. And so turns out my great grandfather was also a medic, had medical background. My great grandfather, right? And so handed down through the generations is this hypodermic gun, basically, that's able to shoot darts at a distance to heal up to heal up people. So that's kind of where I used relic as my power source.
Interesting. So yeah, you'd assign all your dice roll to the end of background to any of the following powers. You have awareness, intuition, signature vehicle, signature weaponry. And you can select from the elemental / energy, materials, mobility, psychic, or self-control power categories. So a lot of different options that you can choose. What did you choose
I went
to select
with
for your?
So for my first item, I used signature weaponry. So that's my hypodermic gun.
All right.
And so I assigned that the D10. And then from, I think it was the psychic powers category, I went with precognition. So I could kind of tell what was going to happen to people ahead of time. And then my last one was, I forget which one it came from, but it's absorption. So that
like
I could hopefully, so I could suck up damage from people.
All right. And also with this power source, you get 2 yellow abilities.
So I went with, so for my relic, I went with Harvest Life Force. Attack using absorption is the power that I chose for that one. Using your min die, take damage equal to your min die, and one nearby ally recovers health equal to your max die for that one. And then my second one is Magical Shield. What does the R stand for? Range?
Reaction.
No, that's a reaction. Reaction. Okay, sorry. Action, reaction, and then interrupt. Okay. When another hero in the yellow or red zone would take damage, you may defend them by rolling your single hypodermic gun die, which would be the D10.
Now, keep in mind when using the yellow abilities, each has to use a different power. So you'd actually have to choose a different power instead of that signature.
Yeah, so one is the absorption power, and the other one. So I can't use. Yeah, and then the other one is the hypodermic gun, right?
Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought. Yep.
Nope, that's okay.
And you also get one green ability.
And so I went with draw power, boost yourself using absorption. That bonus is persistent and exclusive.
Oh, nice. So yeah, that's would be that power source. So Rob, you were looking at the supernatural.
Yep.
All right, and you also get a pretty beefy list of options to choose for your powers. List awareness, cold, electricity, fire, infernal, plants, presence, radiance, strength, transmutation, vitality, weather. You can also select from the list of mobility, psychic, or self-control categories. Any of those immediately spring to mind?
Electricity.
Electricity. All right.
See, so I assign all the dice I rolled at the end, so I should have 3 dice that I get to assign to this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe it's a D10, D8, D6. Yes.
Sounds right. So I want to do presence and electricity, and then I didn't actually realize that I could grab from another category and hadn't looked at those other categories. to
Yeah,
give you more.
mobility, psychic, or self-control. Psychic has animal control, illusion, precognition, postcognition, remote viewing, suggestion, telekinesis, telepathy, mobility, flight, leaping, momentum, swimming, swinging, teleportation, wall crawling, and self-control, absorption, density control, duplication, elasticity, intangibility, invisibility, part detachment, shape-shifting, and size changing.
I
Yeah.
like the part detachment. It's the you can give someone a hand or any other limb, really.
Yes.
I kind of feel like absorption is where I'm leaning towards for what I want to be doing.
Cool. Sounds appropriate.
So it's
All right,
awareness,
and
electricity, and absorption. Or was it awareness or presence?
presence.
I'm paying attention to myself.
I believe awareness is a quality, not a power. No, awareness is an intellectual power. I do find the qualifications that they put to either what's a quality or a power a little bit
Yeah, it's like qualities
nebulous.
are.
Yeah.
And I think that's on purpose. It's like
Yeah.
you can have your character be Sherlock Holmes in a supernatural way or in a not supernatural way. Because Sherlock Holmes is not supernatural, so it stands to reason, ergo vis-a-vis, it just pick what you want.
Yeah.
A 10, an 8, and a 6, huh? All right. Presence is 10, absorption is 8, and electricity is 6.
And you also get to choose 2 yellow powers. There's area healing, which boosts an ally using power. You and nearby heroes in the yellow and red zones recover health equal to your men die. Mass modification as an action, boost or hinder using the selected power and apply that mod to multiple close targets. Personal
Going with
upgrade,
that one.
the mass modification.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And each of these do have to have a different power. What power are you going to tie to that ability?
That will be presence.
All right. That makes sense. And you can totally rename these abilities to be more on theme with your character as you like. You just might note what the original name was. And you do get to choose one more that has to have something other than presence. There's a personal upgrade, boost yourself using power, use your max die. That bonus is persistent and exclusive. Reach through the veil. When a nearby ally would take damage, defend that ally by rolling your single status die, move them elsewhere in the same scene. And that is a reaction. You want to think on those a bit? We can.
Yeah, you want either the area healing or the reach through the veil.
Fair.
I feel like area healing would be really fun for a metal band to just like the mosh pit can go absolutely friggin' bonkers and not takes any damage.
Nice.
Right?
Oh, Rob,
I mean,
you need to look ahead just a little bit, Rob. I think it's in the red powers. There's an option where you can create your own minions.
They can be your bandmates.
Yeah, they can be your bandmates or your roadies or your mosh pit.
Oh boy.
And here, all the above could work. I mean, and there again is the minion maker archetype too, but
that's what I'm leaning towards, just because that seems very me.
It does. So we'll get to that in a bit. Sam, do you have an idea of which route you're wanting to go?
Yeah, I'm just looking at all these different powers, and it's it's almost overwhelming. So I'm basically I'm at Alien now, and it's looking at, so I get to assign all dice, which I guess I've got a D10, a D8, and D6 from my previous background, the Interstellar background, to any of the following powers, and there's an enormous list.
There is.
So I'm trying to even figure out what's good.
So it's that big list of powers.
Yeah.
They're just whatever you imagine that power to be, right? The real things are the moves.
Yeah, the abilities.
So think about
basically when it comes to the powers and qualities, largely that's just going to be how you're going to flavor your various actions.
Oh, right. So I assumed I was then scrolling down to the like powers that those actually like I actually have to figure out like go back and like figure out whether I want like calculated dodge or
Right.
what's
Right.
it called major regeneration. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm looking at is all of the different powers that I have the options of taking and trying to decide which ones I
that's
want
fair.
because there are a million of them.
There definitely is. There's a bunch, especially on this particular one, since in addition to signature vehicle and weaponry, you have 6
Mhm.
categories you can choose from as well.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them are like kind of similar, like which I guess is probably just to like allow
Yeah.
you to have similar effects from different paradigms. So I'm
Yep.
just trying to like avoid too much overlap. There's just like so much going on. So I have
What it-
not decided.
What is your power source?
My power source is alien.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, you might look at those a bit. Do you have any idea of which of the two of the abilities you want to select?
Yeah, I picked halt and alien boost because I figured the third one was very healy, and considering that both Rob and Steven mentioned wanting to play healers, I feel like we didn't really need more healing.
Probably not. At a certain point, you're kind of running into
All the
action
healing.
economy issues,
Yeah, exactly.
especially with the. I don't know if you remember, but the combats and encounters in this game have a definitive timeline before.
Right, yeah, so you kind of need to like put some punches out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, that definitive
Oh.
timeline kind of kept Absolute Zero running.
That's true. Just go into the red as soon as you can. But anywho, Stephen, what did you? I guess we already went through yours, didn't we? Or no? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, my relic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rodrigo, what did you choose for your, or have you chosen archetype or power source?
Yeah, power source is extra dimensional.
Extra dimensional, right? Do you?
So- Yeah, so I got a D12, a D6, and a D6. So I put it at, and it's the extra dimensional list of powers is pretty tall. But I went with teleportation at D12, and then duplication and awareness at D6 each.
Cool.
So yeah, I see this guy
And-
basically opening portals and walking through, and sometimes opening portals, and like there's another one of him in the portal.
That's sweet.
And obviously he's very attuned to dimensional nonsense, so that's where the awareness comes from. As far as abilities, right? The little yellow and green things are called abilities.
Yeah.
I get 2 yellow ones, so I'm going with Aura of Pain with duplication. So attack multiple targets using duplication, then take irreducible damage equal to the number of targets hit. And then a Bizarre Strike using teleportation. So attack using teleportation. Use your max die, hinder that target with your mid die, and hinder yourself with your mid die. So some sort of wrestling with portal shenanigans that leaves everybody on the mat.
Nice.
And then for my green, I get 1 green ability, and I'm going to go with extrasensory awareness with awareness. So when you would take damage, that would change your zone. Defend against that damage by rolling your single quality die. So I get it's a reaction. So I get to like throw that in.
Nice. Kind of help soak a bit of damage at least.
Yeah.
Possibly more if your healing friends help you like get back over those thresholds and back down again, like a certain sub or absolute
Well,
zero.
At least one of my powers deals damage to me. So I figure this might get me to hold the line. If that power is very successful, I'm going to take a lot of damage.
That's fair. All right. And so, Rob, have you, or I guess Sam, have you made a power selection?
So I'm thinking of taking Dire Control because it just sounds sweet. Which is it lets you mind control a minion.
Yes.
Beyond that, I was thinking maybe impossible knowledge, which at the start of your turn turns any penalty into a bonus. And I get one more at least just from the alien ones. So I'm not sure what else I want to take. Maybe some kind of mobility power. Like
You get shapeshifting.
I don't get shapeshifting, which is bizarre.
Does it open? It doesn't let you into the self control category.
Oh wait, let me take a look.
Not alien, no.
Oh, okay. That's weird. That is a little weird that aliens don't get shapeshifting.
Right?
Yeah. Apparently, Martian Manhunter has shapeshifter as his archetype or form changer. Something like
But he
Right.
also has
right.
psychic, man.
that. Transformer. There you go. That's transporter.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get like. I mean, I guess let me think if any of these allow. Yeah, it doesn't look like any of these allow for shapeshifting, which is bizarre. Maybe I should, because maybe I should take something besides. I could take form changer instead of psychic. I feel like that might be more interesting, considering that we're already got like a psychic that very recently in Drifters. So
True.
Shapeshifting's fun.
it is always fun. Yeah, let's do that. I'll
Plus,
still have.
this allows you this system. I think allows you to play a shapeshifter that does not necessarily that transmutation
Right, yeah, exactly.
archetype that is very complex. You can.
It's
still
more like I
be a
turn my hand into
shapeshifter.
a giant fist, and
Right. Or you can grow in size and shrink in size, and it generally allows for that, I think.
Yeah. Plus, Alien gives you psychic powers anyways, so I can still I can be Martian Manhunter, as you say, with the archetype of shape changer, and then I can fit in Earth. I'm thinking of taking, by the way, the naive personality, or not naive, sorry, inquisitive personality trait.
Oh,
Because I just thought
nice.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, the form changer, it is definitely one of the more mechanically heavy archetypes. I mean, that I feel like you'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I think I can handle it.
Yeah, you're definitely not one I have any concern about having issues with rules.
Thank you, though.
No problem. So, yep. I mean, so if you want to hammer out those fine details within the coming week, that's
Yeah.
fine, because there's going to be quite a few options
lot.
there.
For sure.
But the form changer, actually, I was looking back at Alien. There was also some weird dice manipulation.
Yeah, I get to upgrade a power and stuff like that.
Yeah,
or
you get to
an extra
upgrade one
power.
power quality to D8, or if you have no powers, instead add a new power, D6 from the list at 6.
Yeah, but I do have a D6. Well, actually, I have this. So I'll wind up with a D10 and 2 D8 powers from Alien. So I have to decide on a third power. But
They have no D6 power. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So you just
yeah, well, because I have a D6, which then gets upgraded to a D8.
Yeah, fair. And it's usually, I would think, just from a mechanical standpoint, usually better to upgrade dice rather than necessarily get new ones.
Spread out too much.
Yeah, because then those lower dice don't tend to get used too often unless it's a very particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Brian.
Yes, Rodrigo?
Just a real quick correction. My extrasensory awareness depends on a quality rather than a power, so I'm tagging it to magical lore.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So it says it's something not in the supernatural list. Does that include the ones from mobility, psychic, and self-control?
I would assume so. It's not in the above list. Let me go back to that.
Oh, they're separated in this list anyways. Okay.
Not in the above. Yes, so I think that's anything that's listed there. You have to choose yet something else.
Psychic and self-control, I can't. And then all that. Oh my god.
You can always just go with the Hallmark and vent a power with the GM's permission. Sonic? Okay. That makes sense.
And the other is the power of rock.
Nice.
which is essentially what Sonic is here.
Yes.
Am I able to use that power for one of the 2 yellow abilities that I got? Or is
I would
that
say, strictly by the
Because-
way
so
it
it-
seems to be listed, I'm thinking no.
Yep. I ended up going with the area healing using electricity.
Okay.
Well, form changing is sweet. I did not look closely enough at how it works. It's freaking
Yeah, there's-
awesome. Super,
there's a
super
lot
happy
going
with
on.
this.
Yeah. I mean, if someone I thought would be good for that, I think you are one of the better players to be looking at that, because I'm sure you can do
Yeah.
some really interesting stuff with that mechanically.
Yeah.
So have fun with that. And Rob, are you thinking we can move on? Did we go through everyone's power source? I believe so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
All right. So yeah, are you thinking the minion maker for your archetype?
Yeah, that just seems way too on brand to avoid.
All right. And that is definitely one of the more mechanical, heavy archetypes like Form Changer. However, with Minion Maker, most of that crunch seems to come during play. So yeah, you might sometime within the next week make sure to just get the. I guess you
create
do.
a flow chart.
Yeah.
Speaking of not necessarily a flowchart, but getting used to this. So there's the symbols or the icons in the powers,
Yeah.
but the character sheet doesn't have like
Yeah.
any way to easily put the icon in there.
Yeah.
has
So what
a-
you have to do,
Boost or attack or anything like that.
yeah. So what I did and what there was a sample that I didn't send you guys. There was a sample of this, and they just use like B for boost, D for defense, A for attack.
So you're looking at the PDF
Yeah.
sheet. The roll
Yeah, 'cause
20
if you
sheet
go-
does have the icons.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
And I do apologize. I just
Okay.
realized I haven't gotten one to Sam there in roll 20. So
Oh, thank
do
you.
that.
Yeah, I was just using the one that Steven gave me, but that's probably better to just put stuff in roll 20. So I'm taking a weird form and a strong form. Should my yellow form be agile, speedy, towering, or regenerating? So torn. So many options.
I mean, I would go with towering.
I know, right? It's harder to resist.
Is it? I mean, unless it just like exists in too much of the same space as the strong form.
No, strong is just like a consistent attack using power, use your max die, whereas towering is attack multiple targets using a power.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then weird is like a reactive one.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I should also say now, if you really want to get in the weeds on making different forms, you might check out the modular archetype instead of Form Changer.
Yeah, I saw that, but I think that I like form changer.
Okay, fair enough. Excellent. All right. But otherwise, so Rob, with your minions.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you do get to assign one or more of the dice from your archetype to more powers: duplication, inventions, part detachment, robotics, elemental energy powers, or materials.
It's 2d10s and a d6, right?
Some supernatural.
Yeah.
Yep, 2d10s and a d6. And then you also have information or mental qualities. You have to assign at least one to one of those
Okay, so I have to
powers.
assign.
And then you can use any number of the rest for either those powers or the information or mental qualities.
Is duplication self specifically, or can I do that with whatever?
I think generally it'd probably be self, but I mean it kind of depends on what abilities you do. To I mean, you can definitely theme it as copies of other people. I mean, I'd say it just kind of is up to you. Are you wanting to make copies of other people? I mean, like, the archetypal minion maker within Sentinels of the Multiverse is Unity, and she tends to make robots themed off of her teammates.
Yeah.
So it
No,
very
I'm
well
just
be that
looking,
kind of
and
thing.
the inventions, part detachment, and robotics just don't seem right. And I've already got 2 elemental powers,
Fair.
electricity and sonic. Uh,
You could go
could
materials
go with
and get rock.
yeah. Yeah, it's probably what I'm going to do is go with stone, and I'm going to put that as the D6.
That's
And
fair.
then get qualities with the 2D10s
Not a bad plan.
from information and mental. Okay.
Just out of curiosity, what is your creativity at?
My creativity is a D8, and my leadership's a D10.
Ah. So you think you might
I think
be
I should probably
teaming
swap
your...
those.
It's up to you.
Go ahead and ask.
Because basically on page 88, you get the number of qualities that you can choose for your minions based on whatever related quality you are tying to your minion making ability. So if you go with there's 12 options. So if you have a D10 in that, you basically have all but 2. So again, that might be something you just look at in the meantime. Make sure you got that printed out or somewhere easily accessible during play.
Right.
You're just going to basically have those abilities, probably getting a high enough bonus to scrap and turn into a minion. It's going to be the harder part, the more limiting part. So you just straight up with the 2 green abilities list there, make minion and power up, and you gain 1 yellow ability, and you get additional options for your red abilities too. So you don't actually get to choose one of those at this point to actually choose the red powers.
Right. So I want to do otherworldly mythos,
All right.
and
Oh, I should probably have that.
Yeah, that's the quality, esoteric quality, I assume.
Yeah, that's an information quality, right?
Information.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, let me switch out magical lore for otherworldly mythos.
That is fair.
Yeah, I know what happened. I was gonna take both of those, and then I was like, oh, I'll take imposing for social, and then one of them fell off.
That's happened sometimes.
I don't know what other one I would want out of this list.
Well, you can always choose yet another power too.
Yeah.
Just put them all in
'cause I
powers,
need
or
more powers.
yeah, that's true. Again,
Like
once
I've
you
already
start
got
getting
5
wide enough.
different powers. Actually,
I
I will go
mean-
with another power. We'll do infernal. I have an idea.
All right.
I know when my identity needs to be kept secret.
Would you like to share with the class?
Something, Prince of Hell, something.
What is wrong with you, Rob?
Deal
Rob,
made at the
daughter of the
crossroads.
devil.
Yeah. We're going to lean into
Right.
one of those things in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know exactly which yet.
Fair enough. So, Stephen, what did you choose for your archetype?
Well, I again went with I'm going to roll the dice method. And so I got to roll a 10, and a 6. And so I rolled a 6, a 2, and a 6. So that gave me a 6, an 8, a 12, or a 2. And of those, I went with a 6, close quarter combat, as my archetype. I figure if I've got to get in to heal people, I'm probably going to have to do some punching as well.
Interesting. All right. And
so it says assign one of the dice you rolled at the end of the power to the close combat quality. So I have close combat, which I assign my D10, and then I get to choose one or more of the remaining dice for my power. So I used, I believe, gadgets and fitness because I'm a doctor, so gotta be fit. So I went gadgets with my D10 and fitness for a D6.
Sounds cool.
And then for the 3, I get 3 green abilities. So I went with a defensive strike, defend using absorption, defend using technology, and attack using my min die. And then I went with a precise strike, attack using close combat, that's the D10. Ignore all penalties on this attack, ignore any defend actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions. for precise strike.
Nice.
And then I figured I might, and really to kind of roll into my fitness ability, my last one that I chose was throw minion, attack a minion using fitness. Whatever that minion rolls as a defense attacks another target of my choice.
Nice.
And then, yeah, so I can just pick somebody up and swing them and throw.
Pick a guy and hit him with someone else.
Yeah. And then finally, it says gain one of the above abilities as a yellow ability using a different power or quality from your green abilities. And so I went with, if I did this right, I went with dual strike, attack one target using gadgets, which would be my D10.
Did your defensive strike use gadgets?
My defensive strike uses technology.
Technology. Okay. So yeah, both technology and gadgets. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm a doctor.
Okay.
I should have a lot of gadgets. So
Fair. Okay. All right. And Rodrigo, what were you thinking for your archetype?
Let's see. My archetype is it's transporter.
With
So
your portals.
I'm gonna lean into the portals there. So
Cool.
let's see. I was coming in with a D6 and a D12. So I'm gonna put a D12 into strength from the athletic powers category. And a D6 into close combat from the physical qualities category. I kind of want to reverse those, but then everything this class or everything this archetype gives me is keyed on a power. Like I don't have the option to do a quality. So, I get
Yeah, what does that
two.
mean? So, like, so many of my things say, like, boost all nearby allies using power. Like, does that mean that I'm
one of those
Like-
things
That-
from your powers list.
Yeah. You
Okay.
choose one of the entries on your powers list, and that
Yeah,
and so
you-
I assign that now?
that character
Gotcha.
creation, and it's pretty much locked in until you
Yeah,
change,
and very
basically.
very often they'll be like it has to be like if you get two things, they'll be like it has to be two different powers,
Sure.
so that you don't just spam your strongest power, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I am taking for my green. I get two green abilities using two different powers. I'm taking displacement assault using strength, and mobile assist using teleportation. And then I get to take one of those as a yellow ability. So I'm taking mobile dodge, which is just a reaction and doesn't have an ability tied to it,
Fair enough.
or a quality or a power. And then I got 2d10s going forward.
Cool. And also an expertise principle.
And an
Again,
expertise
like-
principle, yeah.
Yep.
So as far as my principles, I still might change them, but the first one, I think I'll take the principle of the nomad, and then I'll take the principle of mastery for the second one.
Fair enough.
For my responsibility principle, I went with the veteran, just somebody who's seen a lot of medical emergencies. So that allows me to overcome a tactical challenge using knowledge of a previous conflict and use your max die. You and each of your allies gains a hero point.
Excellent. And was there any things we need to nail down before we move on, Rob or Sam?
No, I think I'm just assigning things, but I've got a good feel for it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rob,
I
you
still have
think
to
we're
pick
good?
my yellow ability from Minion Maker,
You're
but
That's something you can.
it's mostly because typing this out takes a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair. Well, yeah, basically beyond that, the next step would be to go on to select a personality. These basically determine your status die and give you usually some other quality or power and determine what your out ability is. Basically, what your character is capable of eking out if they're reduced to 0 hit points in a fight. There's a good number of those. Lone wolf, natural leader, impulsive, mischievous, sarcastic, distant, stalwart, fast-talking, inquisitive, alluring, stoic, nurturing, analytical, decisive, jovial, cheerful, naive, apathetic, jaded, and arrogant. Stephen, what did you choose for your personality?
I brought 2 D10s forward and rolled them both and rolled 3s on both of them. So I could either be impulsive or I could be distant. And I decided to go with distant, which I'll roll into something called Dr. Nerd Introvert here in a little bit. But yeah, I went with distant as my that's my so under distant says make up a quality based on your hero's backstory, because my parents grew up watching 80s television. I kind of had to watch all that stuff too. Too busy studying, trying to get into medical school, all that good stuff. So hence that is Dr. Nerd Introvert, who gets a D8. And then it says the out ability that I have is boost an ally by rolling your single red status die. And then for my status die, I have a D10 for green, a D8 for yellow, and a D6 for red. And then I get to choose 2 red abilities for my character. So the first one that I went with is Give Time, boost another hero using my hypodermic gun. If that hero has already acted for a turn, use your max die. That hero loses health equal to your min die. That hero acts next in turn order. And then I went with my second one is Resurrection. Once per issue, if you would go to 0 health, roll gadgets plus medicine plus red zone die. Your health becomes that number. So that should boost me back up quite a bit.
Yeah.
So gadgets is a D10 and medicine is a D10.
I have a rules question when you have a chance, but go on.
Yeah. However, noting, I was just going to state that the status dice that you get for being distant is D10 in green, D8 in yellow, and a D6 in red. So apparently Tad is a character that maybe has trouble keeping up when things are getting grim.
Yeah.
Which I guess might work into his...
Isn't that opposite of the way a lot of the other powers go? Usually it starts with a low roll die and then works up to a high roll die.
Well, it depends on, the personality. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That just makes a interesting narrative influence there.
So my question is, a lot of powers themselves say like attack using power. So am I attacking using a different power, or so if like I have like sorry, go on.
There's both. Some of them, yeah, some of them start out high and then get lower, and some of them start out low and then get higher.
So choose something from your powers list.
Yeah, and mechanically too, right? It's like some characters or some players are going to definitely want to stay out of the red. Some players are going to dive for it, right? Depending on what you've got going on.
So all right, unerring strike is an intellectual power, and it says attack using power.
So powers are that list, like teleportation, duplication, awareness, strength, right? Your ability.
It says it's a power. Oh, it's a red ability.
Into that ability.
This is very.
Your ability
confusing.
is the little.
I see. Okay.
Like multi-square thing that
because
is like
it says
attack using
red
power.
abilities, but then
so
it's also
you could plug in
the step 5 is abilities,
transmutation, or whatever you got.
Exactly. So I was like, wait, but I thought it's the power, and then okay, got it. Thank you.
No, unerring strike is an ability.
Yeah, and depending on your ability, some of them will either say power / quality, so you can use from either list to plug those in. So
all right, so makes sense. Do you know what you're thinking of there for your personality there, Sam?
Yeah, I was going to go inquisitive because I'm very curious about life on Earth.
Fair enough. So yeah, you get to also pretty much everyone's going to be able to make up a quality based on your backstory and assign it a D8 in most cases. Do you know what that quality will be?
I don't know, something about like being in witness protection, but I hadn't really figured that out yet.
Fair enough. And you also get the out ability, choose an ally until your next turn. That ally may re-roll one of their dice by using a reaction. And this is one that steps up as the status goes down. So you have a green status die of D6, yellow a D8, and red a D10. You get to choose 2 red abilities. Have you looked at those options there?
Not really. I'm still trying to pick out all my different powers, but
And since that is another thing that has quite a bit of different options there, yeah, you might just have to look at that at later time.
yeah,
But
exactly. I was also kind of
basically,
struggling with like my principal because I didn't feel like any of them super fit what I was going for, so I might want to make something up.
fair. Yeah, I mean, if you need to make something up or just choose something from a different category than it specifies, I do not have an issue with that.
Cool.
And Rob, do you got an idea for your character's personality?
I kind of want to go nurturing.
Nurturing? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting pick.
And the quality would be something along the lines of conflicting ideals. Or not ideals.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like the outward expression is way different from, but I don't know how to put that succinctly.
That's definitely something to think on. That's definitely interesting. And I also find it neat that apparently nurturing has the status die of D6, D6, D12.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
pretty mediocre until things really start buckling down.
That's when your babies are in trouble.
Yes. And you also get to choose 2 red abilities, but being a minion maker, you have the option of choosing some red abilities from that particular archetype rather than the general red ability list. So you have a few more options than everyone else, in fact, in addition to just your sheer number of powers that you have to choose from. So, yeah, you might look through those as well. Rodrigo, what did you choose for personality?
My personality is decisive.
Nice.
So
there it is.
Yep, that's going to be D8s all the way down.
Yep, D8s all the way down, and your add ability is boost an ally by rolling your single power die. And 2 red abilities as well. No real twist there. Did you have an idea what you chose for your red abilities?
So I've got one which is specialized info from information qualities. So it's overcome using quality user max plus min die. So I'll do like otherworldly mythos for that.
Nice.
And then I haven't gotten to the next one. As far as the quality that I get to make up, I was thinking of something like cosmic known quantity, like it, transdimensional horrors, time travelers, and stuff like know about this guy, and he might have met them already.
Excellent.
So yeah, he's like a maybe I don't want to say constant because he actually just retired, but yeah, something like that. Cosmic known quantity.
Excellent. All right, and basically mechanically, the last step would be to do what's called a retcon here. Basically lets you fudge or reallocate some things. So you can choose one of the following. You can swap 2 dice within your powers, swap any 2 dice within your qualities, choose a different power quality used for one of your abilities, add any D6 power quality from any category, increase your red status die by 1 size up to a maximum of D12, change either your principles to any other principle, or gain an extra red ability. Typically, I would suggest, from your mechanical standpoint, if you don't have a D12 in your red status die, to go ahead and pump that up, as that will also increase your hit points as well, or your health.
Yeah, I was just doing this so wrong. I was just not looking at the right powers and quality sections. Sorry, I was just looking straight at. I was looking at all the red abilities as opposed to that little small chart up at the top. So that changes so much, but that's funny.
That's all right. I'm sure you can.
Oh yeah, it's easy to figure out now. So, but that makes me happier. So I'm thinking of taking both deep space knowledge and criminal underworld info.
Oh, excellent. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So like maybe I don't know, maybe this city has like a deep seedy underbelly of aliens, like Men in Black style.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Sounds like that Ashport may be a something of a intake location.
Yeah, exactly. Like for what, like there's like it's a maybe that's also part of why Nexo has come here. Is it's like a place where lots of beings from different worlds congregate for whatever reason.
Hmm.
Yeah, very cosmopolitan place. And so yeah, you might do that again if you don't have the D12 or red status die. You might just consider pumping those up. Stephen, what did you choose to retcon?
Well, I guess I wasn't paying attention to that one because I guess I could take my red D6 and bump it up to a D8, but I thought about giving myself another red power.
You could do that.
Yeah, so I went with impenetrable defense for my extra red power. Defend using absorption with max plus mid die against all attacks against you until your next turn. So that would just, I think it does essentially would do the same thing as boosting up my red die, protecting me from taking damage.
Yeah, I mean, and also I feel like maybe you not having the most optimal status die array makes it kind of fits with your being the most normal here.
Yeah.
When things really start getting weird and the pressure's on, that's when you're not the best and you're just really trying to keep everyone up, very possibly yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But all right, Rodrigo, did you if you wanted to switch anything around or boost up that?
So it increases it by one size, right? So I could get a D10 in the red.
That's correct.
That seems like the smartest thing to do. But it does wreck the fact that I just have D8s all the way down. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do that and boost my. It's also like the easiest thing that means I don't have to like go in and start looking for stuff again. So I'll boost my D8, my red D8 to a D10.
And I guess this retcon does have the option of change either of your principles to any other principle. So, Sam, you were saying that none of them really seem to fit there. So if you do,
Okay, great.
To take something else.
Yeah, I might wind up taking like the underworld one, which is not like an esoteric principle, but I think would probably work for the character.
That's fair. So you could always just do that instead of one of the other mechanical options. And Rob, I mean, you pretty much, if with your nurturing or personality, you would already have the D12 in your red, so you would have to choose one of these other options for your retcon. Do you have an idea of what you're wanting to go with your character there?
There's a good chance that I'm just going to choose a different power or quality used in one of my abilities once I figure out what all of my red abilities are.
That's true. Or you can, take yet another red ability.
Gain an extra red ability.
Yeah. Just take all of them from Minion Maker.
We only get 2 to start with, right?
Yeah, you normally get 2 red abilities. Minion Maker has the option of 3 red abilities that you can take instead of the standard list.
Yeah.
So if that is something you want to do,
all 3 of them.
Yeah. Or you might look and see what's actually in those other lists, and there might be stuff there that key into your theme. But probably will be something to look into over time. So yeah, I mean that's mostly it for the actual nitty gritty of character creation. You do have to tally up what your final hit points would be, which in this system it would be a D8 plus the maximum value of red status die plus the maximum value of any one of your athletic powers or mental qualities. If you happen to not have any, it's a D4. And then it would usually be a roll of an 8, but I'm just going to go with the option of +4 instead of the roll, just so you don't have to worry about random health. And that's it for mechanical. There's a chart that helps you determine what your green, yellow, red status is based on health. And the most part is just fleshing out your character's backstory and information and appearance and all that. So I am kind of curious, Rob. Do you have an idea like exactly how your character? Is your character? Did they make some sort of deal with the devil to get the cool rockin' powers?
I'm thinking more child of the devil to get the cool rocking powers,
Okay, fair enough.
and that's why the identity being kept secret is so important.
I see.
I win. Rob, daughter of the devil. Welcome to the Solifuge.
As long as we don't have any talking teratomas, that's fine.
Athletic powers or mental qualities.
So, Stephen, so you inherited the relic that you got?
Yeah, not everybody in the family was a doctor, but it was impressed upon me to become a doctor. And so my great grandfather had this in his old medical collection. And so when I graduated medical school, I got his old medical bag, and inside that was the hypodermic gun.
Interesting. And so is this like an old steampunky kind of thing, or?
It is. Yeah, I guess you could think of it as more of a steampunky thing. So let's see. That'd be what, 3 generations. So that would be. And no, it would probably
Almost
be
Tesla
a mid,
punk.
like, yeah, almost. I would say it's almost like 1950s retrofuturism kind of gun looking thing.
Neat.
Like stuff you would have seen as this will be the future of whatever, as seen from the 1950 newsreel. So it's kind of like really smooth and curved, and it's got like these little whooshes things and little vents and a little it's got a little for the opening, it's got the little antenna with the ball on the front of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like that zap gun that you might see from this is what your future will be.
Nice.
And it's kind of a red chromy color.
And you have kind of retrofitted other gadgets from that?
Yeah, definitely. Around my waist, I have a belt of just all these little cartridges that I can pop in there for different things. If I'm trying to defend somebody or trying to revive somebody or trying to, give them a boost or a heal. I've got these little cartridges that I can slot in there and fire those off.
Nice.
And of course, I've got the other doctor stuff around me. So would be the technology. So, I've got a super hearing stethoscope, and I've got a blood pressure cuff of +20, to snap your arm off, son, kind of thing. So that's what I've got on the technology side.
Sounds good. And so we pretty much, I think, gone through your story there, Sam. Basically, alien immigrant from another world. He somehow got wrapped up into shady dealings. Did you go with the psychic route?
No, I went with Form Changer.
Oh, okay. So didn't grab any psychic powers at all?
Oh no, I actually still do have psychic powers. So I have what's it called? I have telepathy, and so I have telepathy, suggestion, flight, shape shifting, and I'm still trying to figure out 2 more.
Fair. And so you still thinking that maybe you mentally overheard something you shouldn't have, and
yeah, exactly. And and now I'm on the run.
Yes, very interesting. And also similarly, I think we went through Rodrigo's character's backstory, Nexo's former guardian of the Crossroads, and has since retired, relinquished his post to someone else, and is now apparently in Ashport.
Yeah,
trying to find a new life.
Are you the reason that Rob got through?
I mean, there could be something there. It could be the reason why, however old Rob's character is, +9 months, something got through.
Okay.
I mean, I would. There's been a previous character that has something to do with Land of the Dead and Crossroads within our previous superhero games. You think there may have been any connection with Jetstar?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I thought maybe it would be cool if there was like so like there's this like kid who's like a Dhampir, right? and he's being stupid and he's being like a villain, and then basically he gets in trouble with some other cosmic entities, and then Jetstar and Nexo have to like help him out, and in the process, like the kid becomes the new guardian of the Crossroads just because like either he showed himself to actually be a good person or something like that, or showed wisdom or something, and then that kind of unexpectedly relinquishes Nexo from his job. So now he's kind of been basically taking odd superhero jobs, working his way north since then. So that also gives us some time between the now where like Jetstar is like frozen in time with like a super robot coming at his head, and and Nexo basically having some time to kick around the probably the Pacific side of Mexico up to all the way up to the, what was it, Ashport.
Yes. All right. Sounds good. Anyone else have any final thoughts or details they want to hammer in?
I think when I have my guy, that principal of the veteran, also had seen some medical duty in combat, not necessarily superhero stuff. So that's maybe ties into the principle of the veteran. Even though I can remain clear-headed under intense combat situations, as my character drops, maybe there's some PTSD stuff, because my major twist is how are you withdrawing from the current conflict might fit in there as well.
That's fair. And
I'm sorry, I have a burning question.
Yes, sir.
Does Steven actually have any healing powers?
That's the thing, right? As we go through here, I can harvest the life force, I can protect you, but there's not really anything, and I can boost you, but there is nothing in here that gives anybody health numbers.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, as long as there's something
I
that can be turned that way, I mean that's fine. I was just like, just kind of thinking back on it, and I'm like, just because of the archetypes that you ended up picking, I'm like, I don't know that there's any healing in any of those.
Yeah, and that was my big frustration too, because I was going by, let me just roll the strict die. I think there's an option when you're doing it the way I did it that you could re-roll one set again or one die again to get a different number, but
yeah, it does give you the option to re-roll at every step if you want, and take the second set. But
but I just said, well, what can I do with this thing? And as I got to the end, I was like, well, I don't have a whole lot of healing, but I do have defensive stuff, and I do have boosts that I can give people and hero points that I can give people. So that's my deal.
And I mean, they don't. At least I wasn't finding it like I have an archetype that seems to be particularly fitted for healer. I think largely because healers
superheroes don't heal.
Yeah, there's not a lot of superheroes that you see really healing.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's your first hallmark of like, is this an actual superhero game, right? If you pop open your superhero game and there's like all this stuff about how you heal or like what healers do, you're like, actually this guy's misunderstood the assignment. Yeah.
So I don't know how you guys went in approaching this. I went in this, I saw everybody sharing ideas back and forth, and I was just like, well, I've not played anybody in a healer class, so I just went from, I want to play somebody in a healer thing, here's this idea, and then I went in and did the character creation, kind of trying to conform what my dice rolls were to the options that I had based on those dice rolls, and that's kind of where I ended up with this guy who's more of a protector than a healer, I guess would be the thing.
And I feel like that kind of,
in any case,
makes sense given the scope of combat. I mean, like, we can definitely have you administering first aid and healing during between scenes.
And I wear a big basically I look like a mad scientist because I have these big thick like welder mad scientist goggles, and long white lab coat with big black gloves as my costume.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't come up with like my name yet, but I'm gonna be. I think my superhero name will be the Visitor.
I like it.
Ooh.
Nice.
I like
That's
that.
good. Have you thought of a name for your character, Rob?
I have not yet. I was going
That's
to
fair.
go dive into mythology sometime over the week.
Okay.
Damien.
Well,
Raven. Go with
Damien
Raven.
Malachi.
Perfect. No notes. I would say go watch Hellstrom for inspiration, but don't watch that show. That show's bad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Boo.
Real bad.
wow.
Now, I will say, if you guys want, and this is for the listeners, not necessarily you guys, there is a PDF that you can get that is form fillable. And so you can get your character sheet and just put everything in. And I found that very helpful when I was creating my character. But as you've already heard, Roll20 also has the Sentinels Comics RPG character sheet in there that then interacts directly with the game. So if you need to roll something, you just click on your power and it'll roll everything for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the /R or anything like that. So that's also really helpful for those of you who are using Roll20 a lot. And we use that here at Major Spoilers for Critical Hit. We use Roll20 for, I think, just about every game except Fiasco? Or did we use that
we
in
used it for
Fiasco?
We used
Fiasco
it in
too.
Fiasco.
Wow. Did we also use it in Inspectors?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
All right. Well, see, there you go. Use it for everything.
This is a Roll20 house.
.net. Yes, it is.
Hey.
Roll20.net. There you go. Anything else, Brian?
I think that's good for now. Again, those of you that still have some final details, do get those to me before next week. Otherwise, I'm ready and excited to see how all these guys get together and what kind of adventures they end up going on.
Neat.
Oh, man. Pacific Northwest. I think we are going to, what is it? Ashland or Ashport?
Ashport.
Has stolen
Ashport.
Portland's motto. Keep Ashport weird. I think that's what it should be, right?
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading and checking us out this week. We will be back next week to see how all of this comes together or, explodes disastrously in our faces. If you have any questions, drop them to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com. Don't forget to check out our Discord server that you can come and hang out. There's a couple of Critical Hit channels over there, RPG channels as well, if you want to just ask questions, find other RPGers, that kind of stuff. And then finally, if you want to see our shows continue far into the future, we would really appreciate your support in 2022. I would like to see half of our listeners become silver level members at the least in 2022. So if you can swing $5 a month, $5 a month for all this entertainment that we've been bringing you for over a decade now, head over to patreon.com/major spoilers. I think you will find that your money, it goes into good hands because you're going to hear episodes a week early and maybe 2 weeks early if we get half of you to sign up, and maybe some other things. You're going to have to find out more. Patreon.com/major spoilers. So until next time, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are all max dice.
This podcast is copyright 2022 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.